Guys, I'm so excited about this Ace Bailey news. Let's talk about it. It's the Hoops Nerd Show. All right, guys, before we do anything, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. Okay. This Ace Bailey news has me more excited and more pumped for this season than I've been in the last month or two, mostly because we've just had dead NBA news, and somehow we've survived, guys. We survived because training camp is like next week. We got NBA Media Day coming up. Preseason is almost here. And then we get blessed with this incredible news about Ace Bailey. If you haven't heard, you may have already seen, but Ace Bailey has decided to part ways with Omar Cooper, his player manager, and is now looking for new representation. So there's a few things we got to talk about this. First off, for a 19-year-old to have to make this type of decision is tough. It's impressive, but also tough. Ace Bailey's still a kid. He's 19 years old, and having to fire his player manager, who he worked with during AAU, who certainly helped him in the AAU circuit, had definitely a positive impact in a lot of different ways for Ace Bailey, but also had a negative impact in a lot of different ways. So it's kind of it's just a very nuanced conversation. But what this does is first off, I just want to really just say how excited happy I am, because Ace Bailey is completely kind of redeemed with what he said during the draft process. During the whole time coming up to draft night, everything we heard was that Ace Bailey was trying to go somewhere else. He didn't want to work out with the top 5 teams. Well, it certainly appears now that that was all Omar Cooper. And I think we all kind of understood that as more news came out and we got to know who Omar Cooper was and all of this information. But now it's just nice to see that it was confirmed. And every single time that we heard from Ace Bailey himself, or just from his agency, his actual player agency, the news was that he was happy to go for the Jazz and he just wanted to play basketball. Every single time after he was drafted, reporters asked him, "Hey, are you excited to go to Utah? What do you think of Utah? Are you sad that you're going to Utah?" And every single time he said he was fine with it. And he's just excited to play basketball. All the social media, everything we've seen since Ace Bailey has arrived in Utah, both right after the draft and also now. By the way, he's been in Utah for like the last couple weeks, just living here, playing basketball, training camp, and all this stuff, the pre-draft workouts. He looks fine. He looks happy. He's not frowning all the time, like the article pictures they show from Jonathan Gavoni and other national reporters conveying information that was so obviously from Omar Cooper. And so anyways, just an incredible thing for Jazz fans. Ace Bailey, I could not be rooting for him harder now, because he has proven, before, during, and now after, that it was all about basketball, and we can just accept him at his word now. There's no more kind of side-eyeing and wondering if he really likes it and if it's all going to be a big problem down the road, and it was also something that was a little bit there, kind of an elephant in the room. We saw this week's, I literally made a video yesterday about the news about Omar Cooper and his son Sharif Cooper getting picked up on a 2-way contract with the Washington Wizards, very clearly showing that the Washington Wizards was the place. Well, guess what? That was where Omar Cooper wanted Ace Bailey to go. It wasn't necessarily where Ace Bailey wanted to go. Ace Bailey is in a perfect situation in Utah. The person who broke this news is Tony Jones, and he wrote in his article on The Athletic, Bailey is slated to compete for a spot in head coach Will Hardy's starting lineup. At the very least, Bailey should become a rotation player in what will be his rookie season. So he's going to be a rotation player no matter what. That wasn't a given if he gets drafted by the Philadelphia 76ers, So it turned out to be a nice landing spot. Yeah, if he'd have gone to the Charlotte Hornets, even there he might have had some issues with, potential starting opportunities with Brandon Miller and LaMelo Ball and Miles Bridges and all the players there. So this worked out really nice for him. Utah has a spot for him. I really, really, really hope that with the decision that Ace Bailey has made, and it's a tough one, guys. You cannot underscore how important and big this decision was for him, and honestly kind of life-changing. Utah needs to do right by him, because if he's making the hard decisions that shows faith and reliability and loyalty to the Utah Jazz need to do the same thing to him. They need to make sure that he is getting the maximum amount of minutes. If he is, if it's between him and Kyle Anderson, and yes, maybe he's making some mistakes in training camp, but showing incredible tools and flashes and upside, Utah needs to do the right thing and give the position to Ace Bailey. I have a feeling Ace Bailey is going to have a real good shot at earning a starting lineup because of what we saw during Summer League. What we saw in Summer League, it was just a short stint, 2 games in Salt Lake City. But what we saw were things that I don't think a lot of us expected. One, we got all that. I mean, honestly, I feel bad for Ace Bailey because he's got so many bad, press moments. Not just the Omar Cooper stuff, but remember the stupid draft combine measurements, and Ace Bailey measures like 6'7.5" without shoes, or whatever it was, 6'7", and everyone now calls him 6'7". Well, guess what? Last time I checked, players play in basketball shoes when they play on a basketball court, okay? And so that stupid news, and everyone and every national saying, oh, he's shorter than he said he was. No, he plays with basketball shoes. I do too when I play basketball. I'm guessing all of you as well play with shoes on when you play basketball. So on a basketball court, guess what? He is 6'9". And during Summer League, when we were there and I was there in person, I made sure I wanted to see that in person. He looks big. He really does look big. Like, it's not like when you saw Donovan Mitchell up close. I remember I had a few times where I was in like the first 5 rows. I got some tickets. I was lucky, and I saw Donovan Mitchell up close. Not 6'3". Not big, right? You see Donovan Mitchell up close and personal, it's not as big as you think. You see Ace Bailey, he's big, right? You see Rudy Gobert up close, big, very big, right? You see LeBron, big. Paul George, big. It's the same situation with Ace Bailey. The size and, the eye test passes. But what was also really impressive was his motor, his defense, and how hard he played on that end. That weak side block was incredible. And the thing that I was probably most impressed with Ace Bailey was him going over screens in pick and roll. How hard he played on the defensive end, how quick he moved with his size, like I'm talking about, that size, and how well he moved. It's not a surprise that Ace Bailey's on-off numbers at Rutgers were very good. The Rutgers team defense and just point differential when Ace Bailey was on the floor versus off really changes your mind about the narrative about him that was out there as well. Because what was the other negative narrative about Ace Bailey? He's a chucker. He's not as efficient as he'd like. He doesn't have the handle that you'd like to see. He doesn't get to the free throw line and blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? When he was on the Jazz court and he was playing defense, he was playing hard. And if he can be a Paul George, this is ceiling. If he hits this, I don't see why he couldn't be like a Paul George two-way player if he plays with that level of defense. On the offensive end, the ball handling was actually not too bad. There was one time where the ball squirted out of his hands, but guess what? That's not something that doesn't happen to other players as well. Can he work on that? Yes. Will he work on it? Yes. Is it going to be maybe his greatest strength? I don't know, but maybe we can't condemn a player before they've even made their first start in the NBA. Okay? So much negative press for this guy. And after all that has been said and done, the handle, the negative comments about his offensive play. Oh, Rutgers isn't a very good team. People didn't say all that stuff about Ben Simmons and LSU, by the way. All the negativity about the height. Oh, he's not as big, blah, blah, blah. All the Omar Cooper stuff, which it was insane. The guy on his draft night should be allowed to just enjoy himself, be excited about what he's doing, being drafted in the NBA, something that every one of us has dreamed about at some point in our lives. Well, he's living that dream. And he has to talk about the Omar Cooper stuff. So I'm happy for Ace Bailey. The Omar Cooper stuff is over. He can now find a player manager that will help him. And by the way, that is the other difference in this situation. I don't even know if we're going to hear any more about this stuff. There is a difference between player managers and agents. Ace Bailey has, I think his name's like Daniel Green, and there's another partner that are his NBA certified player agents. Omar Cooper was not NBA certified to be an agent in the NBA, so he can't represent him as his agent and receive that 10% fee or whatever it is for player agents. Can't get it. And I don't know if that was part of the stuff that was going on, that maybe Omar Cooper was trying to become that. Who knows? But it's not going to happen now. His player agency did a great job with him. He is now going to be able to make and hire a player manager that isn't trying to sway his decisions with basketball. I mean, one of the things that these NBA players have, guys, and you probably all already know this anyway, but they have a lot of players people in their lives that kind of manage everything for them. The player manager is actually kind of like a life. They're basically like their executive assistant in a lot of ways, helping them find housing when they get traded, or, someone had to help Ace Bailey find an apartment here. They will likely help him find some sort of house to buy or rent, whatever he does. A lot of these players have a house for them. The richer ones, at least, will have a house for themselves. They tend to have like a house for their player manager and people like that. Some of these players have family that they do it for them, and so they have kind of their whole nucleus of people, and that's where rumors and things like that come from. Player, beat writers get connected to them, and I'm kind of rambling here and talking about something maybe you already knew, but he's going to find a player manager that will help him out, and I'm sure the Jazz may even be helping him with it. Who knows? But it's not going to be a big issue anymore because he already has a player agency. So when Tony Jones says he will find new representation, well, it's it's like player manager stuff. It's not agency. I don't see anywhere where, and maybe I missed the news, but I don't think he fired his actual agency. It's just Omar Cooper. So all that said, this is incredible news for Jazz fans, for Ace Bailey. Just such an incredible show of just love of basketball for Ace Bailey. That's my favorite thing, and that's what I'm going to end off with. This is the entire time Ace Bailey said that it was always about basketball. And this move that he does today proved that that was the case. It was always about basketball, and Ace Bailey is going to have a chance to shine in Utah playing basketball. Guys, I'll talk to you next time.